Hey everyone, welcome back to this episode of Kart Crazy. This is part 3 of a multi-part series where we're bringing back to life a long-forgotten 2005 Club Car Precedent. Today I'd like to focus on two things. One is going to be restoring this old gray and dingy plastic. We tried that in the last episode and it didn't work out real well, so we're going to try something else today. And the other thing is I'd like to get the lift kit installed if we have time. So come along for the ride and let's get started. So in our last episode we were trying to restore this plastic and it wasn't working out so well. So I found another product and you can see this one's real gray. This one's got a little bit of shine brought back to it, and I'll show you what I used for that in just a second. Also what I did, and I'll insert the video clip here in just a second so you can see, got it back outside for a second pressure washing, and I'll insert that clip now so you can see. This is the second washing after the body's been removed. And a couple things you should know if you've never done this before. I always put it in the toe position rather than the run position whenever you're dealing with water. Not that it really helps any, but if I turn this on, hopefully I can get the camera down here and you'll hear this. You hear that little buzzing? So that's common on these. I've read that online. When they get wet, they will dry out and be just fine. What I didn't realize when I was doing this was this compartment didn't have a drain hole, so I was spraying and getting everything cleaned up, and this was full of water, which of course this is an electronic component for the throttle, and it got wet and it's buzzing in there. So anyway, good idea to, number one, make sure your drain holes are clear, and number two, just put it in the toe run position until everything dries out. I just wanted to show you that so that you can understand some of the electricals and things that you may not have been aware of. But I want to focus on getting this body restored today. That's our main goal, and like I said, if we have time we'll get the lift kit put on. So for that I picked up this Duplicolor trim and bumper paint after doing a little more research, and that's what brought it back to life on our rocker panel. So we're going to try it on the remaining body panels. We will have to mask off a few things on the dash because I do want to paint the whole dash and I don't want to do the stickers and things like that. So we'll tape those off and then we'll be able to maybe spray this down. This is all hidden under the dash anyway, so it doesn't get seen real well, but that way we'll be able to give that a little bit of life, especially in our cup holder area and things like that. I'm going to go ahead and mask off a few areas in the front dash area that I don't want to get paint on. Of course I can't find my good painter's tape, so I'm going to use some stuff that's been laying around for about 10 years and doesn't want to come off the roll. That way I can get super frustrated and wish I'd have looked a little harder for the good stuff. Thought maybe it'd be a good idea to pull it out in the sunlight. For one, I'm not breathing in all the toxic fumes in the garage, and two, it's nice and sunny out today, so I think the paint will dry a little faster. So it might be hard to see on camera, but this stuff is actually going on really good. I'm going to have to give it a couple of applications, obviously. My biggest concern was this rear underbody, and I don't know if you can tell in the camera or not, but this is only after just a little bit. Of course, I'll do probably 3 or 4 more times around. It looks like it's going to come around just fine. This back, where this bumper is all beat up, or this back panel I should say, they actually make a cover that goes over that for that specific reason, because everybody at the golf courses, they run into these cars and beat them all up. So number one, I'm not too worried because we are putting a rear seat kit on, which I think is going to cover most of that, and if not, I can get that quote-unquote bumper to go over the top and cover up all these scratches and and chunks of plastic that are missing. You can see the shine starting to come back around. We'll keep going and give it a couple more applications here. Alright, that went pretty well. This is still drying a little bit, but my main concern is this side panel right here. That's what everybody sees, okay? And that turned out pretty good. I'm not too concerned, like I said, about the back bumper because that's going to get covered. I did the inside dash, but once the cowl and everything is on here, you don't really see that too much anyway. I know the lighting's not real good in here, but it's still kind of drying, but it turned out really good. This side panel looks awesome. Brought the shine right back to it, which is what I was hoping for. Just because, like I said in an earlier video, this piece is so expensive that it doesn't really pay if these pieces aren't all busted up to replace that. So, got that. And next step is to put on the lift kit. So here's our lift kit. I chose a Rocks this time, not because I wanted that one over the other one, simply because the other one was out of stock. So this is actually going to be a 4-inch lift kit over a 3.5. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of difference. And then the back is our leaf springs, our heavy-duty leaf springs to allow for the extra passengers. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the lift installation on this one, simply because you can watch one of my previous episodes and that's a little more detailed on how the install will go. But once I get everything out of the box, I'll kind of show you the components. So in case you are looking at purchasing one of these, you'll understand what's exactly in the kit and what's all involved. So here is the bulk of the kit, which is the main subframe, which will go up underneath the cart. 4 bolts and everything changes for the lower control arms, which is super easy. That'll replace our stock lower control arm. Not too bad there. And then this is everything that's in the kit. It does come with instructions. I'll probably do what I normally do and toss those aside and wish I would have read them later. Upper control arms. This is going to be your spindle mount. So that's going to reuse your stock spindle, and those pieces are for the rear. Like I said, if you need more detail on this, check out the previous video that I did on those. But that's the bulk of it right there. We'll get started. Found a little surprise in this one. Wonder if that throws the wheel balance off. I don't know. Well, there you go. Pretty straightforward. I almost think the front is easier than the rear on these, even though there's more components. Everything's wide open where you can get to it. I did find out that there is evidently a secret compartment up here that holds about 8 gallons of water, because it continually dripped and made a big mess as I was working here. But we got through it, not a big deal. And now I'm curious as to what's in there, because it does look like some kind of compartment, so we'll have to check that out. But other than the alignment, the front end is done, so we're going to move on to the rear. So you can see the difference in the factory spring, which is just a 1-leaf system, and our replacement spring, heavy-duty spring, which is a 4-leaf system. That's going to give us plenty of extra strength for our rear passengers. Also comes with a new bushing kit. Pretty simple to install. here we are. It's 5 or maybe 6 days later. Unfortunately, my battery died on the installation of the lift kit, and I didn't realize it, and I just kept going. But that's the beauty of electronics sometimes. So, did get everything put on. I got the tires put on. I went ahead and ordered, I'll show you this, new rocker panels. These were like $27. Unfortunately, the color is just a little bit different, but I think once everything's together, that won't matter too much. If you remember, we did paint these. This one does have a crack in it, and I thought for the little bit I would spend and get the replacement panels. However, the color is just a little bit different, so I'm not quite sure. But I think it'll be fine once we get everything together. And the body on, I don't think you'll notice that too much. But we'll see. I might have to make some adjustments there. So there it is, 4-inch lift, 22-inch tires. And the next step is going to be to get the body put on. Alright, so I've chosen a fire red MadJax Alpha kit, similar to the Stormtrooper. If you watch that episode, the front I don't even have unwrapped yet. That is our rocker panels that I painted. Those are the new ones. I'm still not sure which one I'm going to use. Probably the new ones, just because I have them. If I look over here, one thing I forgot is the inside of the cowl needs to be painted, and I'll throw that outside and do that quick, and then we can throw the body on. Alright, well there's your first look. It does require a little bit of patience and finesse to get everything lined up in all these little troughs that the body basically, like I said earlier, just kind of pushes down into. So take your time there. I know the last body kit that I installed, I actually put a small crack right here because I was pushing down so hard trying to get everything to line in. It wasn't real noticeable after the seat kit and everything was on, but it was enough to make me pretty mad that I wasn't patient with myself and messed up a nice new body kit. So take your time, make sure everything's lined up, and work it in. Of course, you know, I've got some more to do here, obviously, with the rocker panels and getting everything adjusted just right, but that's kind of it for the most part, and we'll work on the probably the floor mat, and then we'll do the front trowel. These frame extensions are necessary for, number one, the body kit that we're using, and number two, the brush guard. So they're notched perfect to fit in to the old frame, but unfortunately someone tightened up these bottom bolts too tight, so we'll have to make some adjustments with the old hammer to get those to fit in. Not going to take much, it's aluminum, so we can do that relatively easy. Then we'll slide these in, that'll work for our bracket. Well, starting to look like something again. Well, I think I finally got enough pieces bolted down where nothing will fall off, so I can take it for its maiden voyage. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time on Kart Crazy. Oh, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.